This week I shall be mainly trying to find things to avoid the potential of trying to restart the bike. Anything I can think of, because I'm just really nervous about putting it all back together again and whether it's going to work. It should work. But as we all know, I've been tampering with a lot of stuff and that can go horribly wrong, even when it's silly things that I haven't been tampering with, as per the MV. So these reset switches had some kind of rubber button thing on top, and they'd all gone rotten and mouldy and gungy, so I scraped them all out and put some new grommets in. Alright, I'm braver than I made out, but there's some weirdness going on with switches. So we have, it's on, everything's cool, everything's kind of randomly wired up down here, and we have no kill switch on, so let's put the kill switch on. Bingo. Oh, let's turn it off for a minute. Let's try the starter. Nothing. Good. That's what we like. That's what a kill switch is all about. Let's put that on. Oh, by the way, no fuel tank, no fuel. So this is interesting because this is a momentary switch. I'm going to have to kill it, but press it and oh look, it's still happening. Yeah, shouldn't be. Concerned about that. Thought the idea was that it turns itself off as soon as you come off the button, i.e. momentary. Encouraging on so many levels that actually the starter motor worked and the immobilizer didn't kick in, so I haven't screwed all that up, and I'm just wondering, is there some kind of magical sensor in the ECU that says, oh look, the engine's started, I'll disengage the starter motor? I don't know. I guess that's the next step. Hook up the fuel tank, see what happens. And by the way, that annoying humming in the background is my redneck engineering AC in the garage. Yes. One there. Very necessary. It's starting to get bloody hot. So I suppose I've got to put my big pants on and put the fuel tank on there and try and fire it up again and see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Well, the worst is that the starter motor keeps cranking and just gets churned out once the engine starts running. That's the worst. At least the kill switch works, as far as we're aware. So that's a bonus. And then there's the possibility of, of these not being securely clamped in and fuel pissing all over everywhere. That's another possibility. And of course, there's the possibility that these don't actually connect properly and we got no spark, so that's something else. Possibilities for disaster. Should I carry on? Alright, I've hooked it all up. In is in. There's the fuel pump. Out is out. We hope, as long as we got it right up here. And by the way, I obviously drained the fuel tank, so there may be very little fuel in the tank. I'm just going to give it a turn over now and see what happens. Mainly because I'm waiting for Derek again, because that happens. Okay, all good up there, ready to go. Kill switch on. Oh, interesting. Turn the throttle and it stops starting. Do we need some choke? So it does cut out after a while. That's interesting too. Okay, so I'm just fiddling on around down here. That's the choke. Yeah, it don't do shit anymore, does it? Alright. I feel a low battery coming on. Maybe a requirement for more gas. Additional petroleum required. That could be tricky. Turns out petroleum is quite good for cleaning garage floors. I think we found that out before. And just to be safe, yeah. And yeah, overflow, which, yeah, no, that's the breather. Attached also, because it started pissing out of there. Although apparently that's the drain, which is higher than this one at the bottom of the tank, which is apparently the overflow, which doesn't make any sense at all. So let's give it another go. There you go. Chugging. Wow, that sounds good. Fire. No, it's alright. I don't know what it is. There's something smoking there. Don't know what that is. Boy, that was loud. Probably a little too loud. I think we may need some additional baffling in the pipes. You can tell how happy I am. How cool is that? It runs. I mean, Jesus. I didn't break anything. It was merely out of fuel. Amazingly, it's still quieter than the MV. And I use the word quiet as a strange terminology for this particular instance. Yeah, but it sounded louder, and I don't know if that's because it's a lower note, because it's a twin. I don't know, but yeah, 120 something. Not for track days at Ponzi tracks that have decibel ratings. But here in AZ, down the high street, it's perfectly fine. Loud pipes save lives. Certainly going to hear me coming. So the MV is still the decibel champion, apparently. And you have no idea how pleased I am that it fired up, because, you know, I've tweaked a lot of stuff, HT leads, coils, moving them around, etc, etc. So the fact it still works is a miracle. And having started it up, I'm not so worried about whether this gold matches that gold, because this gold, which is that gold, has now been heated up and it's now kind of pink. Yeah, salmon colour. Well, until about there, but I'm sure it'll get hotter later. Yes, interesting. I shall examine the smoky spots later and report back on whether there's any meltage of plastic, etc. in those particular areas. But I think it was just like stuff, yeah, oil, whatever, burning off. And I guess, contrary to the confusion with the momentary button carrying on regardless, it kind of works in a real situation. So that's something important to note, I guess, from this exercise, that a momentary button maybe isn't so momentarily involved until it's in a real situation. I don't know. Starting to look at my clever idea for the backlight, which I have not yet exposed. And part of creation is destruction, so I'm stripping back the plastic to see what's under here, because I think I only need those 3 wires. The rest are indicators, which I'm not going to be using. In fact, if I discover what I think I'm going to discover, there will be a freshly wrapped original rear light wiring loom available on eBay for a Ducati Monster 695, because I'll cut it there and take the wires where I want to, routing them somewhere different from that, and that'll get rid of that, and everything will be lovely. So yeah, the black goes off to the rear light, it goes off to the number plate light, and it goes off to the indicators. So that's the earth, that's common ground. The yellow goes off to the rear light, goes off to the license plate light. So that's obviously power. And I guess the red one therefore is the brake light, and everything else is superfluous. And thankfully this time around they seem to match up with the wires that go into the receptacle. So like I said, I won't be needing the loom, and I'll cut the wires before they even get into that connector, and I shall put the connector on eBay too with the loom. Meantime, I've discovered some new scissors that are better for the shop, so I shall return the old kitchen scissors to the kitchen. And I can't believe somebody went all the way to IKEA to buy these. It certainly wasn't me. I'm not doing 3 laps of a warehouse just to buy a pair of scissors. I hate shopping at IKEA. Some of their products are great, don't get me wrong. It's the whole shopping maze experience. Yeah. Very clever marketing, but not for me, thank you. Not going back again. So after all that excitement yesterday, I'm going to be doing starting on the back light. Doesn't look very interesting, does it? But I've ordered the bit that makes it interesting, I think. For now, we're just going to be hooking up the wiring, making sure it works. This is actually the other one of these that we used on the Augusta. Yes, that little cookie there. Yeah, that one. And we're going to do something completely different with it. We have running lights, and we have running lights. Yeah, we got it right. Good, well, that's that then. That was a bit too easy, really. I think I'm getting quite good at this. Not going so smoothly, because it involves some of these, you know, these just basic brackets, but I don't know what they're made out of. It's like kryptonite or something. So I'm using a very special drill. Firstly, it's brand new, and secondly, it's 15/64. Yes, the imperial measurements weren't so great, were they? Figured I'm not going to be using that for much else, so if I blunt it, what the hell? Well, I've worked out how I'm going to mount it, which is good. And actually, the fact that these are 4 mils. These, yeah, 4 mil to fit through the existing holes, and these things that are made out of kryptonite. Yes, those things, which is a good thing, because the thinner the better. And actually, I might not even use bolts at all. I might glue it. What the hell is he thinking? Well, it's a cunning plan. Well, I thought it was. We'll find out when the other missing piece of the puzzle arrives. Now I'm going to test that headlight going out automatically. I checked it on the stopwatch. It's pretty much 60 seconds, so I'm assuming it's some kind of battery saving BS. So we're going to not put it on and start her up again. What fun. Bloody loud. worked. Stayed on for at least 90 seconds or more, actually. Yeah, it's quite smoky in here, and I think it's mainly the paint. It's supposed to be heat resistant. Yeah, let's have a look. Well, it's all still there. It's a different colour, as one would expect, potentially. So it's gone kind of coppery colour, which is very Arizona. Not what I was looking for. Yeah, okay. And but yeah, that's where it all seemed to be coming from. I mean, obviously there was fluids involved in getting that lambda sensor out and back in again and up here, and so I think it's mainly just fluids that I used for various things, plus the paint starting to burn off. Getting a bit of a through draft just to clear the smoke. And I think what I'm going to do now, because I'm confident we got these switches and push starts and everything good, I think I'm going to tackle this. I'm still confused about those 4 that come out the bottom and just terminate together, but I'm going to leave them as they are, cut them short obviously, and wire it all up and stuff it all in there somewhere. Lovely jubbly, all neat and tidy. Still starts up. Magic. I did actually test those 4, you know, that all terminated together out the bottom of that switch. Plug, whatever. And yeah, even with them all kind of not touching each other, everything fired up. So I probably could have avoided that whole massive plug, honestly. But then it would be translating the colours and getting confused as to why the one that went in top left didn't come out top left, and yeah, so I left it in there. Don't want to be pushing my luck given everything that I've done already, and it still starts and runs. I think we're doing very well, thank you. My man Derek's back with a fuel tank, and it's painted, and it's properly painted with 2K, and he's now just putting it in position.
Weird. It's the camera, that's what
it was. A camera. There you go. She's camera shy. That doesn't sound as loud as the Ducati. Well, how about that? 2 bikes for the price of 1 starting up in 1 episode. Very good news all round, especially with the Ducati, honestly, because I didn't need Derek's assistance with that, which is good news. Yeah. So I think that's about it for now. He's gone off with the seat, so that will come back looking something. I'm going to put the MV back together again and take it for a test run. How about that? Meantime, I'm going to Phoenix tomorrow to enjoy the 107 degrees apparently that's forecast, and we're obviously going to be working on the Stratos, yes, and more than that, we're going to be at the shop, not Mikey's house, so we're going to be digging around at IDR and seeing what other projects they've got going there at the moment. I know there's a Ferrari P4 replica, which will no doubt be of interest to all you guys. As usual, thanks for watching. Appreciate your support, and support further by subscribing if you haven't already, and of course telling your friends about my lunacy. Yeah, see you next time.